Good morning to you. Good morning to
I'm
you.
glad to be here.
It's a
How
pleasure
you
having
doing?
you here. I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. How's the family? How's work?
Fine, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All
Thank
right.
you.
Viewers, the rule of the game still remain the same. There are no use of fireworks. For any fireworks seen or detected, it will block. You are liable for the decision you take after listening to Frank talk with Uhiri. And now over to you, sir. Can we get to know you, sir? Meet you, sir.
Okay, my name is Mike Wangwa. Mike O. Wangwa. I'm an author. Okay, I've written a couple of books. I'm also a marriage and relationship coach.
Okay.
Okay, I have worked in the banking industry for a couple of years, 15
Mm.
years, right before I left. So, but now I'm
Mm.
into
Wow.
full-time coaching, relationship coaching, marriage coaching,
Wow.
and then of course
Wow.
pastoring. I'm a pastor too.
Wow. 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 That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. All right. So for viewers, you now see that we'll be eating from someone with a very high experience on what he has been doing for over years. All right, straight away we move to the topic: societal decadence, the effect on society, the effect on our environment, and the solutions to this. You have the floor, sir.
All right. So thank you very much. Good morning. So today, from what I understand, we'll be talking about moral decadence in society,
Yeah.
and it's something that affects every one of us. We want to see how we can curb it. So in the next 10 minutes or 15
Mm.
minutes, from what I understand, blessed,
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
sharing and we'll be having discussions and all that around the topic.
That is it.
Okay, so first, what is moral decadence? It's a gross reduction in the values of a society, in moral values of a society. Gross reduction. So when you find things that were not done several years ago, you see them being done now and people are comfortable about it, that could be an indication of moral decadence. I'm going to give examples so that we're on the same page and understand. So when I say moral decadence, we are referring to issues like exam malpractice.
Good.
Okay, we are looking at issues like indecent dressing. We are
Mm.
looking at drug abuse among youths. We are looking
Mm.
at promiscuity. We are looking at fraud,
Mm.
okay,
Mm.
or zero integrity. So you might not be committing fraud, but you might not have integrity with money issues. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so
Same thing.
that's the, now let's look at some agents of this moral decadence, some people who are responsible for it, or some people whose irresponsibility has led to this moral decadence. Number one, family.
Mm.
Family is key.
Family.
I'm a pastor. So the Bible says in Psalm 68, verse 6, it says, God sets the solitary in families. So anytime God wants to do something in a generation, he puts
Mm.
that person in a family.
Mm.
Now, when I
Mm.
family, it may not necessarily be father, mother, but a family, somebody to take care of you, somebody to nurture you. So we have a child like Samuel who needed to grow, and God took him and put him in the temple with Eli. He had to learn a couple of things, and many other people. Jesus could have come to save the world, but God put him in a family so that he could have those basic things,
Mm.
basic human relationship that you have in family. So family is very key and critical.
Good.
Now, many years ago, you will see that families were more responsible. People will go to the farm. They didn't have so many activities. They will come back together. We had family time. People will sit down together. They will bond.
Mm.
It was difficult for someone to ask you, where is your child? I don't know
Ask
where
you,
the
where's your
child is.
child? I don't know where the child is. That's true.
Now,
Now,
I go
I go
out. If
out.
you go
You go
out
out
for
for
worry
worry
now.
now. Yeah.
Monday evening,
Monday evening.
little
Yeah.
children,
Little children.
12,
Yeah.
13 years,
13 years,
14
14
years,
years.
they're hanging
Hanging
out with
out.
bad. My question is, where are their parents? Because I'm trying to imagine my house. My door is locked. So I don't know how my child is going to get out. I don't know how
How
somebody is
your
going
kids are
to
able
get
to go out.
fine without your knowledge. So when they ask you, many years
Very
ago, we used to watch Newsline, Franco Lise. He would say, it's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? And that's a
Mm.
question we'll be asking ourselves. You don't know where your children are. You don't know how they are feeding. You don't know how they are fending for them.
Mm.
So who is responsible for the moral decadence? You are blaming government, blaming Buhari, blaming everybody. What of you?
What of you, the parents, the
Yeah, so
family, the
sometimes we need to be
guidance.
asking ourselves, yes, those honest questions. Moral decadence, family is key. So today we don't have time for our kids. We are hustling for money. We want a better life. We buy them things here and there. We travel all over the world. We are posting it on social media. But our children at home, what are they turning out to? They are doing drugs. They are involved in promiscuity. They are involved in 419, and you don't even know. So let's look at the second agent, society. Society itself is also responsible. You know why? Because society more often than not determines what is morality. Society defines morality. So several years ago, the kind of society we have and their definition of morality is different from this generation's definition of morality. You
Okay.
understand? So,
Okay.
for instance, years ago, there were things you wouldn't do in public. Okay, maybe smoking. The other day I went to one place, someone shisha joint like that. Now they're even in public place and all that. Those are things that your parents. You don't want your parents to see you doing
Ego, your
those things.
voice,
Now,
please, it's noisy over there, Ego. Ego.
okay, are you talking to me?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sir.
So you
Sorry,
have
sir.
young
Sorry.
people who do funny things, ridiculous things. They are smoking, they are doing immorality, and they are putting it on their status. So me, I'm asking myself sometimes, is it that these people don't have sense at all? I mean, you want your parents to see it, or you feel that you have blocked your parents from WhatsApp as they normally do. But don't you think that there are other people that know you that
That
can
know your
tell your
parents.
parents? So what is happening? What is happening? Why are you posting new things? What are you trying to prove? So before you get to that point, people have passed that stage. We have grown and we have passed that stage. So like I tell the youngsters staying with me, I said, before you go 10 steps, I've already gone 100 steps.
100 steps ahead
Because
of you.
I can see ahead. Everything you are going through, I've been a youth before too now. So we understand these things. Okay, so it's only parents who are not maybe social media savvy and all that you can deceive. But society is very key. So I was trying to say that society determines moral decadence. So now, how do you look at this? In an age where the other day somebody put online and it was saying, if you find 10 million naira somewhere, will you return it? And my brother, people were discussing. Somebody said, now God go punish this one. Poverty will kill you if you return the money. And I'm asking myself, but it's not your money now. So some things that are supposed to be common sense. Now, what is important for us is how to make it, how to blow, so that we can show that. So society itself has changed.
Has done a lot.
So all of us are responsible. So number 3,
Okay.
schools.
Okay.
You see, education is very critical. Education is not just about learning mathematics and English. Education is about having a mind change. Years ago, I did a course with University of Washington. And so, the way they do the education is different from our own. Because you must suffer. Black man, we believe that for you to learn, you must suffer. A is for God, B is for this one, then D is for the best student. That's our mentality. See, they don't. That's our mentality. They don't force you to learn. But there's a way that when you go through the process, your mind changes. My brother, they gave us an exam. The exam, you can try it. You can do it 3 times. You understand? It's online. So, of course, average Nigerian, when you do the first one, it is allowed. When you go through the first one, the ones that you miss, they will now give you indications on what you can do. So all of us were scoring 100 because we had 3 options. You understand, to try it. But I'm telling you that they didn't score you like the regular this thing. But by the time we were done with that course, our minds were changed. It was like, I don't know how they do it. Like they just open your head and put the book inside. So you don't even have to be super smart to learn. That's why
so easy to learn.
Yes, that's why Nigerians who are 3rd class in Nigerian universities go out abroad and you hear they are getting 1st class and they're getting awards. You understand? So now school is critical. But beyond that, I want you to know that school is not just about math and English. School is also about values.
Character.
So now, character, thank you. So what do you have to say about a school that engages in exam malpractice. A school that
Mm.
says, they pass exam for my school. Oh.
You
So
know, just need
parents
to pay
actually,
so money. You're gonna call, just call right.
thank you. So
Miracle Center.
parents actually go to register their children in that school because they pass there. And all of you know that they are cheating. So schools have a big role to play. So many years down the line, when these
Even
children come out,
some schools like okay, kids just the student just wrote jam now. I'm sorry, I'm coming in. You see some schools have some kids who have cutoff mark are not able to get admission into university just because
yeah,
there is a need for them to pay some sort of money and sort some persons up. So before getting into the university, you already have the ideology that you just need to be bribing and doing this thing and you'll be working fine for you. And when you get
thank
the
you.
admission, you don't need to read too. So it is normal. Let's just continue the bribing. And at the end of it, we bring out graduates who cannot read. All right. That was what we were talking
Exactly.
about the NYC challenge recently.
Exactly. You're absolutely
Mm,
correct. And it's so terrible that when I was 7 in Edo State, I was teaching in in a school, primary and secondary school. The
mm,
children were writing primary 6 exam.
mm.
No, was it primary 6? Yeah, I think it was primary 6 or primary 3 7 or something. One of those small classes. And then they were writing for them on the board. What is so special about this first and second self? What is so special that you turn out a dunce of a child just because he's carrying first and second and you're happy? And the schools understand it. So they want to give the parents what they want. It has become money making. So many of them are into it for money, for survival,
For
not just
survivor, not
because
for
they are
value,
passionate. Fine.
not for the
So when you
passion, not
do
for.
this to yeah, when you do this to children,
Mm.
you are spoiling their lives because you make them feel that they always need to pay money to get things done. So the child is going to do it to pass jam, then he goes into university, begins to learn how to block lecturers. He blocks them all through
All true.
till he graduates. Then when he comes out, begins to bribe to get a job, and he gets in his incompetence. And just because he has paid, somebody keeps him there. And because there are corrupt people in every organization all over the world. And so the guy keeps paying and paying. Then one day, somewhere, he's going to learn also to bribe, to get into politics and get into elective offices. And it continues. So now, that kind of person who has gone through that process of paying his way through everything and is now a leader, you say he's going to
I can
condemn.
lead.
What? Because that is a process that produced
In
him.
a
So,
wrong
even
process, you can lead.
when we get bad leaders, my brother, leaders are not taken from Jerusalem or from America. Your
No.
leaders are taken from the country. They are taken from the same system where we all grew. So that's it. Okay, so let me just roll so that I'll give you the floor. The next one is religious organizations. Now, what are the kind of messages we preach? Many years ago, you go to a church, the messages were, you know, they could put fear into you, and then you will have a rethink. But now, unfortunately, a lot of religious organizations, you go there, and either people are talking about money, or they are talking about motivation, talking about how you can make it, talking about how you can outdo your peers, or they are talking about how to kill your enemies and all those
Not
things.
some
Now,
value anymore.
no values. So I can actually go to church, some churches, and start shouting, yes, tell them, pastor, yes, tell them, preach, pastor, preach, pastor. And then when I go out, they ask me, what was his service? How was his service? It was fantastic, it was wonderful. In fact, heaven came down. Okay, what did the man talk? The man talk, the man talk, what did the man say? I know you actually look at it, you can't even remember what the man
Anything
said
the man
because
say, the man
you were
talk well
busy
well.
shouting, tell them,
He
tell
was
them,
being
tell them.
entertained.
You were being entertained. You didn't tell yourself. You were telling them. Okay, so that's the thing. So religious organizations have a role to begin to tell people these things. Go back to the basics and begin to tell them it is wrong to steal. It's wrong to take another man's property. It's not that once you come and pay tithe, it's sanctified. No, tell them the truth. Tell them promiscuity, blah blah blah, drug abuse. This is what it will do to you. Tell them the truth because some of them actually did not have the opportunity to grow in a family. Some
Excuse me.
people were
Dollar,
born on the streets.
dollar wisdom will do. Dollar wisdom. I am trying to add you up, accept your request, but you're not coming up. I don't know what's happening. Please, if you're there, accept so you can come up. All right, sir.
Okay, so some of them were born on the streets. They didn't have, because I feel for some of these kids. How do you explain where a parent failed in their responsibility and then the child was just born into that family? You can't really blame the child. For instance, a child grows up and the mother is maybe a teenager that got pregnant. She doesn't even have any clue about parenting, and then she begins to parent the child, and the child sees the mother twerking. That's the way of life. She twerks all day
Continue.
long. The child is 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, she has seen the mother twerking.
And
It's
they
a
are very
normal thing
fast in
now
learning.
because they don't come with this thing from heaven.
Mm.
You understand? It's the environment
It's
you grow that
develop it.
develops you, so you accept that this is the normal way to live. You even be laughing at
I
people
was
that don't twerk. So
last week I was sharing and something that happened in one of these schools. I don't want to mention the name of the school, so I don't have anything against it. Now, the woman was complaining to another woman and saying, "Don't mind them. They go disgrace me for school. They ask my pikin, what did your father do?" Then my pikin say, "My father is a Ghana burger."
wow,
So is a Ghana burger a profession? Now, imagine
wow,
that kid growing up with that orientation that my father is a Ghana burger, and from Ghana burger, he make money to take care of me and growing up. Are you expecting that kids to grow up to become? The first role model to kids are their parents.
true, true,
The
true,
first
true.
role model to kids are their parents. They want to do
You're right.
things like their fathers. They want to do things like their mothers. They want to do things like their guardians. And now that kind of kids already have this mentality that my father is a Ghana burger and he does it and bring money. So therefore, I also should go into Ghana burger. That's just to link up to the story you were
That's
giving
true because it's
beforehand.
a profession. It's a profession. And thank you very much. I'm going to ask Ghana Boga to list of professions in the world
It's
so
a
that
professional.
I'll update my dictionary. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's it.
Jerry said
Years
this.
ago,
Jerry Oriseyemi Onesan said, any moral decadence we have today starts from the family. The solution is that let all family wake up to their responsibilities. As they shielded today at young age will end up being a nightmare to them at old age.
exactly,
That's from
exactly.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
thank you, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's true. That's true. Years ago I went to see a friend, and okay, she's a single mother, and then so I went into the house. The child was about 4 years or 5 years then, the daughter, and they had this TV channel on. These TV channels that you tell your children don't watch.
Mm.
A couple of all those music TV channels
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
their sexually explicit scenes and all that. It was a normal thing in
yeah.
that house, and the girl was watching. I said, "Hey, wait till me no get liver to watch. Now this small picking, So she grew up in that environment. And sometimes I'm saying it to parents listening now. Sometimes parents, you need to sacrifice your own personal likes or desires for your children to turn out good. Yes, you might want to watch that TV program.
Exactly.
You might want
That's
to
a
watch.
very good.
Yeah,
We spoke about that thing last week also.
you
Same in this show
need to
last week.
sacrifice
You
because
see,
the child
you
needs to
see,
become
in
better than you.
Delta State mostly, you see women looking good and their kids looking very tattered. You go to parties and you see the woman fine, wear wig of over 250,000, the shoes, the nails are all looking beautiful. But look at the kids around them, around her. The kids cannot even, their hair does not even look good.
Exactly. So take care of your kids, sacrifice for them. It's not just about yourself, okay? You are thinking about the next generation to outdo you. In a couple of years down the line, you will be the parents will not be as important as these
As these
children.
children
So
anymore.
parenting is a responsibility that God gave you. You need to groom these ones so that they are better than you. So sacrifice your resources, financial resources, and all those things for them. Send them to good schools. Then two, again, sacrifice your desires. What I meant was like when you are watching a program, you want to watch TV, and there's this program, there are these scenes that are not good for children. You say because you they like the program, then you now allow your child who is underage or not developed enough to start watching those things. You put those things in a child's mind. So you need to think about them. You need to think about them and make life better for them. Okay, so finally, before I leave the floor open to you, I've talked about four of them right now. Let me
Yeah.
just run through. We've talked about family, we've talked about society, we've talked about schools, we've talked about religious organizations, and then the oga pata pata of them all is government. You know, government at any level is critical. A government can make a policy that will determine if moral decadence will be celebrated or will determine what actually happens in a nation. Now, there are countries, even though we say, okay, sometimes they abuse people's rights and all that, but there are African countries that have taken a stand on morality. They have taken a stand on morality, and it's a crime to do certain things. But what I'm just saying, basically, I'm not really saying a government should come and force people, because at the end of the day, everybody is actually, it's a free will thing. You're responsible for your decisions, but we should put in policies that will make it easy for these people to learn. For instance, let's go back to history. Bring history back to the schools, for instance, and let's see how our heroes past that we sing in national anthem, how they lived their lives, because we can't
In
talk about them without
Delta
now
State, history is not
saying
in our curriculum even. I
it's
think
not only Delta State. I think it's a Nigerian thing. There's a lot of states in Nigeria.
is
The,
it is
the children don't know.
it
So
is it systematically done or
I
something? Why are
I
they
I, I believe so.
in the
I
Western
believe
world?
so.
History is
It's
something
key.
every education system always give back to their kids to tell them this is where we are coming from, this is who we are,
It's
the
critical.
values.
You go to Britain, you go to America, and then they teach you these things. In fact, you learn about your Americanness. Let me use the word before any other thing.
Before any
So
other
you
thing,
learn about the American dream. You learn that you are living for your nation, and that's why they are passionate about everything they do. They've learned everything about the nation. But what about the Nigerian? What do we even know about the country? So I think that when you want to deal with the people and enslave them, you take their history away from them. And it is not an accident that it is happening in Nigeria. And that's why you have a generation. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, the government of President Jonathan, he wanted to name Unilag. I think, yeah, it was Unilag, Moshood Abiola University, to just celebrates Abiola, MKO, for the battles he fought in 1993 and all that for that election. Guess what? The students revolted. How will you change Unilag and make it Moshood Abiola University? But somebody now raised the point. He said, see, many of those children, they don't know who Moshood Abiola
Abiola
is.
is.
They
If
were
they know,
probably not born when this happened. So those of us that were around when it happened are the ones that will say, well, this is laudable. So you take history away from them. They don't even know. But they know all the musicians, they know everything. And the government is promoting those shows, giving them licenses and all
more
that. But you've not
attention
promoted.
than
Yes,
education, than things that have values.
you're not promoting history. You're not investing money in education. So you go for one reality show, they are giving 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. I go for mathematics competition, they give me two packets of Indomie. Eh? So how will that, why will I
how do
not
you
be
encourage
motivated?
education?
Yes, why will they not now be motivated to go and do Ghana burger? That's just the truth, because you have added no value to
Value.
education. And so the government is very important. As far as these policies are concerned, what kind of policies? Are you supporting reorientation? We have a national orientation agency. These are the kind of things they should be talking about. They should be talking about integrity. We should be seeing them on the news every day. Let them be on CNN. Let them be everywhere. What are we doing with the money? Look, ideology. Someone said something. that you don't fight an ideology with guns. You fight an ideology with reason or superior ideology. So when you see people with guns and they are shooting and they are killing people and
Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. Internet.
invest in education.
Okay. Okay.
Invest in education. Begin to teach them. Begin to tell them the importance of living another kind of life, and then they will learn. So government has a big role to play in them all. So I think I'll let me pause there. Let me let you have
All right,
reaction.
thank you very much. You've really gone a lot to the topic today. You've opened our eyes. We've talked about the different parts that are very important in fighting societal decadence. We talk about the family, which is the #1 position or the #1 place in building or raising the society. The place of guidance can never be overemphasized. And you talked about the religion. Yes, we have religion. In fact, last week we also talked about this religion. And yeah, we talked about almost all this also last week, but more in it, not in your form anyway. So these are things that we can start from, where we can start from. Igor, are you there? Igor?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. Do you have any contribution on this?
Okay. You know, I said I'm always going to be a guest, informal guest. I'm just going to listen to people talk about this. But
okay.
Yes. But I always do at the end, I'm going to list out all he has said. But I want to say thank you, Uncle Mike. He's my boss. He was my boss at the banking. When I was in banking, he was my boss. Thank you, Uncle Mike.
Thank you for
listening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But you know, there is something he said. The last thing he said, we need to really hammer on it. That's why I'm wishing, if I knew he was going to go this way, maybe we would have reinvited Uzum, Barrister Uzum, because yes, he's the head of he's the head of orientation in Delta State, and I know there was the first time I met him, he said something similar to this. So I would have loved for him to be here, because really the government needs to start paying close attention
I'm trying to add dollar wisdom, but it's not going through. I don't know what's happening. Dollar wisdom, I'm trying to add you, but I don't know why it's not adding up. Sorry, Igor, you can.
She sends you, maybe she sends you friend request first. I think so. So
I'm adding,
like I was saying,
request. All right, go on.
Like I was saying, government needs to pay serious attention to reorientation. Now, for the last 2 years that I've been trying to do this school no be scam. If for example, I've gotten the kind, if I've gotten government involvement
in school no be scam project
in the campaign, I think I would have, because I was me and my team, we volunteered ourselves to preach this message. If, for example, we had government involvement, we would have gone further than we went. That's one of the things that would have happened. When we did the School of the Scam competition, I noticed the excitement it brought to these children. But you see, there's just little I can do. Do you understand? I can only do what I can do in my own space. Do you understand? In my own space. If we have had government involvement, let me tell you the truth. These children, they can't wait for another competition. And if children, when this thing captures their mind, you see them planning towards it, preparing towards it, and it will take their time from the usual watching of television or the usual thing that sets them back to these issues we are having. But you see, government has not done enough. Government has actually not done enough. There was a time, I know in Sapling, there's the kind of clothes you wear that if I don't know why it's echoing. It's echoing again. I don't know. If soldiers sees you, they dressing if soldiers, if they catch you wearing camisole, there's a kind of dress you wear, they will flog
They'll
you,
flog
and you dress
you in the same dressing.
covered. Yes, yes. There was a time it was happening. So we need to really, the government needs to actually take this thing more seriously, because let me tell you, if government starts talking about it on every TV program, you see they are giving out days to talk about issues
This is
like this. You
like
see,
morale,
it starts
like
thinking it's going to go
morale.
further than, yeah, it's going to go further than, it will go further than we are having it right
That's
now.
true.
Do you understand? Government
That's
agencies, they are talking about it.
that's
Schools, they are talking about it. In churches, they are talking. You will not need to be hosting shows every Friday to talk, every Saturday
to
to
talk
talk
about
about it. It will
That's
go
it.
further.
true.
This government. So that thing he said is the most important thing as far as I'm concerned. Government is one of the most important. Family is important, but government is also that important. Government
Mm,
is
mm,
that important. But
mm.
I want to say thank you, Uncle Mike. I'm also going to list out. I wish Wisdom was there, and I also invited Amarachi
Wisdom
to
has been
join the
trying
conversation.
so hard to join us. In fact, I don't know. She has sent and sent and sent and sent and sent
And she
requests.
maybe
But I
maybe
don't
she
know
should
Yeah,
why.
send different
but it's
requests, and
okay. So
maybe it
Julie
will
and
go.
Blessed, we can, since you know these people, let's take it up with them, the people in charge of orientation, and these are things that they are low hanging fruit. And at the end of the day, you discover that it might not even cost so much. There are people who are willing to volunteer their resources,
Mm.
their media pages. It might just be an advert that they now that you create an advert and I'll say, okay, so and so number of people, you get influencers to put them on their pages for you. And the more people begin to see these things, the more
It affects
it's
their
registered in
mental,
their minds. So when
their
you want to
mind.
do the next thing that is anti-social, you think, I saw this advert. You know, just the same way that advertisements influence our choice of buying things. That's the same way it is. Before the way of society, not tangible. It's not like you pay money and you collect a good and service, but over time you discover that you are doing it. Well, we don't have patience. We don't have patience. That's the problem. But that is where government should be putting their money into, not buying cars and bulletproof this thing. Invest in the minds of people, and you won't need to buy bulletproof cars because they won't attack you or come to kidnap you. So that's more important. You are doing something for the next generation, which is key and critical.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, today we have very less questions than commendations today, because everything you have said back to back is everything that we need to know. So it is less of question, but rather more of listening. I feel like I'm glad that I was able to listen to you. That's
Thank
how I
you.
feel. I feel when you speak, I hear you, and the things was very, very key. Very, very key. For parents who are out there, let's always put this into mind. The way we raise our kids will tell how these kids will grow up. The way we raise our kids, there is no way out. It is garbage in, garbage out. If you train them like a prostitute, they will grow up to become prostitute. If you train them like a criminal, they will grow up to become criminal. If you train them like a responsible elite, they will grow up to be trying to be responsible. They will never grow. The way you train our kids, that is how they grow up. It's just it. It's just it. The way we behave at home, it matters a lot. The way we behave, the words we say to them. In those days, growing up, my mom would tell you, say, when you call the pikin, say, ekpana. You say, I'm ekpa, meaning my pikin will be full. Because she believes that the words you say on this young
Yeah,
child growing
yeah,
up will make them feel it.
yeah.
You see, some kills, they call them Mokite. Mokite. They call her Mokite. Yeah. Why are you calling her Mokite? You want to make it a drink Mokite the water?
Yeah, that's true.
You send
You
your
see
children
some kids,
to go and buy. You send your children to go and buy cigar for you.
cigar, you give your kids of
You
5
send your
years,
children to
2
buy
years,
drink for you.
Ogogoro,
I remember,
Ogogoro.
I remember, I, I remember my daddy's driver said he was going to stop drinking. He likes this, what's it, Alomo Peters. He likes
Alomo
it
bitter.
very well. He takes it a lot. So this particular, his birthday, yeah, his birthday, his little daughter said, "Daddy, I don't have money, but I bought you Alomo bitters as a
You can
birthday
imagine.
gift."
You can
And he was
imagine.
like, "Hey,
You
this
can
thing
imagine.
is so
So,
painful
so,
that his daughter bought him Alomo
a
bitters."
Lomo
So he said he
bitter.
was going to stop drinking because his daughter knows that that's the father's favorite thing.
So,
So she
he's
gathered her
already growing.
money
She has
to
already grown
buy
up with
for
that
him.
mindset.
Mm.
She's already growing up with that
So it was like
mindset.
he's going to stop. He's going to stop drinking in her presence. Like, what kind of rubbish is this? And like, that's what you've started, and that's what we do silently without knowing. We encourage these children with, recently I started watching myself again. There are some things I used to do. If you notice my page, also I slowed down because I realized that okay, I can't keep saying one thing and doing just about anything I want to do. These children, they watch more than they talk. So
Mm.
you can be saying one thing, but what you're doing is already telling them something else, and that's
Yeah.
how that's what they learn. What you're doing, they learn from you more than they learn from what you say. They learn from what you do more than what you say.
What you say?
So parents, please, we need to be very careful to watch what we do. If
What
you
we do
see
in
these
their
children checking them,
presence. In their presence.
yes, that is what they learn from more than what you say. I'm not saying they don't learn from what
He
you say,
said,
but
he said,
what you do,
he
what
said,
you
give
do.
her drink, give her drink. You know they cash am. Give her drink, give her drink. I said,
Mm,
small pikin, they give her drink. He said, now strong boy, yo, strong boy, my son, give her. Ah,
your little child is going for a birthday party. Your 2 year, 3 year old daughter, and you are making her up for a naturally beautiful. Children are born
child.
naturally beautiful. You don't need makeup, but you're already dressing her up,
Did
putting
you
makeup
notice
on
at
her.
times if when they
For
bleach these
what?
kids, some they bleach their kids. They use bleaching cream for their kids.
Yes,
Do you notice?
yes, they do.
Bleaching kid for
So what
kids.
are
And
you trying?
by the age of
You
by
know,
their teens, they're already
I
bad. Their
was
skins are already bad.
I was telling someone, I said, when we were little, how you know a child can dance in the party is the one that exerts more energy. Because dancing was not whether it does not it does not go with the song. The child that is doing like this and dancing and exerting more energy into the dance, that's the child that wins. But this day you see children putting energy. No, you notice is the one that knows all the raining steps. So what we are actually encouraging these children now is
We're
the one that
encouraging
can twerk.
them.
Oh, it's Moge can twerk.
So
Oh,
they twerk.
hey, she can
Oh,
twerk.
hey, when I
Okay,
clap
what
them,
where do you think where do you think the twerk we take her we take her
yeah.
to? So we've encouraged this thing for too long. But like we said last week, the week before, and the week is the same thing we'll keep saying. Uncle Mike has listed some solutions, and I'm going to dwell more on the solutions when I talk from henceforth because we can't keep listing the things. It's unending. We'll just keep talking about the same things. We know these things. I'm so sure that even the parents, they are not happy with the level it has gone. If you talk to those that they are not happy with the level it has gone to, they now notice that it is now going way beyond their control. And most of the parents have been able to engage one-on-one. They're thinking of how they can curb these things. They are now thinking of how to manage it but when you give children chance, they take chances.
That's it.
You've given them chance, they've taken
Too
chances.
much
Now
chance.
we are taking I think we should start dwelling on how to correct these things now because a lot of them they already know. We need to start thinking what to do. And Uncle Mark has helped us to list a lot of things we can do. And we're
Mm,
going to
mm,
preach it the more. I
mm,
think going
mm.
forward, we should be preaching these solutions. Churches, for those of you that have, for the viewers and those of you that will listen after now, for those of you that have access to PFN or CAN, please, I beg you in the name of God, talk to the president or I don't know how they do
They
it,
should
the
start
president or the
teaching
leader or
morals in the
whatever it is.
church.
When you people call for meetings of CAN, you people should talk to the other pastors. Tell them we've gone, we 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 we
We've
we
derailed.
we've done it wrongly this
We've
time. We
derailed.
need to start preaching the fear of God. We need to start preaching morals. We need to start talking about values in church. Even if they just dedicate just 10 minutes in all their sermon or 5 minutes at the end of the sermon and say, remember this week as we go into this week, Remember to teach your children this. Remember, if every pastor keeps saying these things every
Regularly.
Sunday, it's going to regularly, it's going to keep just in my church, I love my church. At the end of the week, they during announcement, they tell you etiquette for the week, and they tell you maybe be kind. Okay, if you can just include that segment, etiquette or something parents should do, and you keep talking about this is going to help us. You know, we are not trying to kill joy. You know, some people say, yeah, just joy killers. You don't want these people to have fun. We are not trying to kill joy. We've gotten too much joy, and now it's going away. People cannot travel again because of kidnappers. Who do you think are those kidnappers?
These are
They are
kids
these young boys
that
that
were wrongly
brought. They are
raised.
into. Yes. So please, we our country is not safe again. That's why you see the kind of news we hear these days. We're not hearing them before now.
No, no.
A man is raping a 3-year-old child.
You can see.
What is causing it? A 10-year-old is caught having sex and loaded the video. What is bringing up these issues? We don't used to have this kind of issues now. We don't used to have this kind of issues. So please, we need to start talking about the solutions the more. We need to start dwelling it. Please, if you're watching this live video, share it on your page. These things they pay to learn this thing, share it on your page. When I share the points, share them, forward them, send them to groups that you're in. Let's, even if it's a worldly group or whatever, your secular group, post it there. Whether they like it or not, post it there. They need to start hearing these things. Don't be ashamed. Don't be me go come preach for people. No, now you go preach for people. You don't have to be a pastor to preach this message. Preach these things. Let's start talking about these things. It's getting out of hand. We need to curb it right now. I am afraid for the future generation. I'm thinking about the future generation. We may not have a society after now if we continue like this. We need to share this message. Talk about it. If I'm not an online person, you come only 1 minute. That 1 minute you come, share something on morals and values. Please do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eagle. Let's take these ones just before we go. Otas, Her Excellency Otas said, let me read it out. He said, her moral decadence have really eaten deep into our society. My contribution is this. Compared to this is that, yes, parents are to be held. Parents are to be held for the moral decadence in our society today. But some children, no matter how much you hold some children, they still want to give heed to their parents' advice. Everything still points down to the parents. Then again, he said this. He says, secondly, the moral decadence is also as a result of someone who are not. What is he saying? Or someone who are not yet up to being parents. It's also okay. It's also a problem to these things should be preached everywhere in our society, in our schools, church, homes, and all social media. I think he's talking about unwanted pregnancies that are being given birth to.
Unwanted pregnancies, possibly. And even young people getting married, it's about people are not prepared for parenting. You understand? Just like Ego said now, I have an issue with parties, with children's parties. So I'm very particular about the kind of parties that my children attend. You understand? The kind of music they play, the kind of lyrics, you understand? And you are there, the parents, they are saying wind your waist, and they are dancing one corner and you are happy. And I'm wondering what is happening? What has gone wrong?
What is
happening to you? Even you, the DJ that takes all those kind of music to a children's party, should you not have playlists that children can use? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? You carry the track, the one that they are using all kind of explicit words. You go and play it in a children's party. One even came the other day around my area, DJ in front of my house. They put a canopy and everything, and they were playing music. On Sunday afternoon, my children were sleeping. I said, what? And some of those music, you don't even want them to hear gathered and you be drinking with your friends, and your children are there. They are putting junk into their minds, and you come and complain, and you are blaming the school or you are blaming government tomorrow.
Society.
Have you done your own job?
Mm. It's a great one. It's a great one. I want to thank you. Thank you very much, my brother, my
Thank you very
friend,
much, sir.
my pastor. It's a pleasure
Thank you,
having
sir.
you here once again. Ego, thank you very much for today. Let's have your final word before we say goodbye to today. Sir, your final advice for
Okay.
the society and those viewers who are watching and those who will watch after this show.
So please, if you're watching now, I've mentioned that it's everybody's responsibility. We could either sit down and be blaming the other person for moral decadence, or we can sit down and tell ourselves the truth that we are responsible. You can make a difference, no matter how small, in your own little environment, in your own little space, in your house, in your office, with those people that you have influence over. Tell them these things. Let's just keep talking about it. And I believe that with time, we will see the change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
God
God
bless you.
bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Eagle, what do you have to say?
No, I've said everything I can say.
All right.
Thank you, Uncle Mike.
Thank you,
Thank
Uncle
you,
Mike.
Blessed.
Thank you,
Thank you
Eagle.
for giving us this
God
this
bless
1 hour
you.
every
God bless you.
Saturday.
God bless you.
I'm going to talk to you later on something else. But thank you
Okay,
so
no problem.
much. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem. Bye.
Mm.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, viewer, it's still Frank Talk with Ugere, and we've come to the end of the show today, Parenting and Society. On Frank Talk with Ugere, I still remain activist, blessed Ugere, the Usurigili, Rack Page, and Up Water for my Talker. You're liable for the decision you take after watching or viewing Frank Talk with Ugere. You don't hear, you've listened, you've heard. You see these things we are doing. People pay to listen to them. People pay these guys, these guests that we bring in to listen to them. Dollar Wisdom, it's hard that you couldn't come. I know that you are fully loaded for this topic, but I know we're going to work on this. Maybe this next Saturday, please, we're going to work on this before Saturday so that Saturday can be very better for us. Dollar Wisdom, she really prepared for this a lot. These are people that people pay to come and listen to. They are giving it to you free of charge right now. We should always appreciate them. That's why I'm going to support us with stars. You are watching us, please send us the star. Support us with the star. Support us with star. Click star. It's support us now. You know, like with the year things, you get rich word. You learn every day from Frank Talk with Ugiri. You learn every day. There's always something to learn in our show. There is always something to learn. There is always someone. When they do show of just shake hands or shake this or shake that. No, we do our show for you to be able to learn. We want a society that works. We want a society that we can be proud of. We want a society that we can beat our chest off. And if we want that, we want to keep on reorienting people. We want to keep on reorienting our mind, change our minds. Now we're talking about family. We want a society. How do we go without raising good children, good kids, good family? How do we beat up your wife at home and you think your kids will not go home, continue doing that? How do you slap talk to your wife rudely and when you expect your kids to grow up and talk to their wife calmly? These are things that we need to know. The way we behave when we are home with our family, we must learn them. When you want to do your things with your wife, go to your room privately and leave the kids out of it. You smush, you do all those smushing, kissing, and the rest of it. Take the kids inside and you can have your privacy. These are not things that are meant for these kids' eye. That is why when they watch DSTV, all those things, they put violent language, they put rage, they put a rating 13, 12, 16 and above. Because these eyes, these kids' minds are not strong enough or sound enough to get this. And you know, anything when papa or mama they do for house, that is what these kids do. So please, let's work on these things. It's going to help us. Again, see you next week, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Nigeria time, and we're going to have a very good discussion. Until then, I still remain Osirigili Rakweiji. I beg, send me star.